Deitch, and I'm Dean of the School of Professional Advancement at Tulane University. And I'm really glad to welcome you to this informational session about our undergraduate degrees and certificates this evening. I'm joined by my colleague, Hope Anderson, who is going to do the presentation with me. And then our colleague, Sheila Gold, had a significant family emergency come up about 15 minutes ago. And so Hope and I are stepping in to cover for Sheila. You'll see Sheila's contact information at the end of the presentation. You'll also hear from her by email after this evening. But we really appreciate your spending time with us. It's the first week of class for fall 2022 at Tulane. Classes started on Monday, so there's a lot of excitement on campus and online. And we're so pleased to have an opportunity to let you know more about the school. If you can, I'd say just two things. One is feel free to turn your video on. Sometimes people have had a long day of Zoom. Sometimes people are at work and they can't use video. We completely understand that. But if you're able to turn your video on, that's great. And the other thing is I would ask if you can to put your name, where you're calling in from, and the program that you're interested in the chat box at the bottom of the screen. And it'll just give us a better sense of what you're looking for. So just to say a little bit about the School of Professional Advancement, or SoPA, as we call it. It's a long-standing school at Tulane University that is focused on largely educating working adults. The average age of students is in their early 30s, but we have a range from literally age 17 to 77 or so. And we offer bachelor's degrees and master's degrees and certificate programs at both the undergraduate and graduate level. We are a hugely diverse school in every respect, including geographically, racially, economically, ideologically. We are by far the most diverse part of Tulane, and we're really proud of that. And we're really proud to be carrying forward this long legacy of educating adult students and offering applied programs that are relevant to the workplace in a 21st century manner. So the next slide gives, thanks, Melanie, for letting us know that you're interested in our education programs. And if anyone else is able to put their name, where they're calling in from, and what program they're interested in the chat box, that would be great. So here's what we're going to cover in this session this evening. I'm going to talk some about online education, which is where most of our instruction happens. We have courses and programs both at our New Orleans campuses and online. I'm going to touch on our programs and our faculty, although not in a lot of detail, because this is more of an overview of the school. I'm happy to take questions about programs a little bit later on, but we also have program-specific webinars where you can meet the faculty and advisors that work directly with those programs and find out more about their curricula and careers and things like that. I'll talk about student support, which means academic and career advisement, as well as support from faculty. And then I'll hand things off to Hope, who is going to talk about important things like tuition and financial aid and our admissions process and deadlines. All of this is, of course, backed up by the great name of Tulane University, and the fact that when you become a student with us, when you earn a degree or certificate from our school, you become a lifelong member of the Tulane community with all the rights and privileges and responsibilities that brings. So thank you for being here again, and thanks to folks for putting your information in the chat box and letting us know what you're interested in. So just to start with online learning, it's pretty rare for a student at SoPA to go through an entire academic experience with us without having some online instruction. It's also the case that even for our classroom courses, we have a lot of like education technology support for those classes. So for folks who haven't been in school in a long time, you no longer go to class on the first day and get a syllabus handed to you that you then have to keep track of for the semester. It's all on a course site where you can see the syllabus, you can see materials, you can see your assignments, you can see your grades, and you can interact with your classmates. The model of online instruction that we use at SoPA is one that we've developed that is, I think, takes advantage of all the great things about online education and the convenience and the ways in which you can use material of all kinds to learn a subject. But it's also highly interactive. And so, for example, we have a combination of what we call synchronous instruction, which means meetings like this that you'll have at least a few times a semester. Maybe you'll do group projects, maybe you'll have presentations, maybe you'll have a guest speaker, maybe you'll talk through content from what you learned that week. And then there's also what's called asynchronous learning. And that means instruction and learning that you do on your own time, on your own schedule, whether it's reading or other kinds of materials, video, articles, podcasts, for example, discussion boards where you talk about a subject that the professor has given you to discuss that particular week. And what it does is it creates a lot of flexibility in the learning experience, and also has been shown to be a platform where many times people who would sit in the back of the classroom, might not have as much interaction with the professor. When you're online, you're on Zoom, everyone's camera is on, everyone's participating, everyone is on equal footing. And we feel really great about the way that we do online instruction. The next slide gives a little bit of a sense of the scale and scope of online instruction at SoPA. We provide a huge amount of training and support to faculty to teach online, which is a very particular skill set. Every week we have learning seminars for our faculty in different aspects of online instruction and instructional technology. We have taught a lot of students in this format in thousands, tens of thousands of hours, and we offer many programs in an online format: master's degrees, bachelor's degrees, and certificate programs. And one of the ways that we know that we do this work well is through the industry organizations and the ranking organizations that acknowledge the quality of our instruction. So that's online at SoPA. I'll talk a little bit about our faculty. We have a mix of full-time faculty at the university, most of whom have backgrounds in industry, some of whom have spent their entire career in academia, but all of whom pay a lot of attention to what's going on in industry so that they can keep their curriculum up to date and provide the best possible preparation and support for you. We have about 40 full-time faculty at the school and about 200 adjunct faculty. And the adjunct faculty are people who work in their fields on a day-to-day basis and then teach our students because they love to have that as part of their career experience. They love to share their knowledge and their networks. So on the left-hand side of the screen, you see Patricia Betancourt, who teaches in our general legal studies program and is a lawyer in New Orleans, and Beau Boudreau, who is a poet and actually an alumnus of our school, who teaches English 1010, which is the composition class that every single undergraduate at Tulane takes as part of earning a bachelor's degree. On the right side, you see Tyra Mitchell and Ralph Russo, full-time faculty. Tyra is in kinesiology, teaching health and wellness and exercise science. Ralph directs the information technology program, so is an expert in IT and cybersecurity. And both of them came from industry, as is noted on the screen. The next slide will show you just a list of our bachelor's degree programs, the Bachelor of Arts degree and the Bachelor of Science degree. Many different applied fields, as well as a humanities program and a social sciences degree program, both of which are really specifically designed for adult students to give you a broad sense of the relevant fields of study, and also sort of help you build a deep base of knowledge. I will just add as well that this fall we are in the process of developing 2 new majors, one in organizational development and management, and one in human resources. And if all goes according to plan, those bachelor's degrees will be available starting in January. But we're not talking about it too much yet because we have an internal process that we're going through where we seek input from experts in the industry on what the curriculum should be. And then we have faculty from various from our school and from other schools examine the curriculum and give us feedback and make sure that it is rigorous and up to the standards of Tulane. But we're really excited about those programs, again, which we expect to be offering around the time that you might be planning to start college in January 2023. So that's the bachelor's degrees. And then we have certificate programs. In every instance, these are programs of 3 credit courses, which means you're earning college credit in these programs. The courses are bodies of knowledge that are sort of stand on their own and give you depth in a particular area of operations or a particular field, but also are part of a degree in every instance. Professional certificates means that you can enroll in the certificate without having already earned a bachelor's degree. And post-baccalaureate means like exactly what it sounds like. These are programs for people who already have a bachelor's degree and who either want to expand their knowledge in like K-12 instruction, for example, or move into a new field. That is sometimes the case with students in the paralegal program or in graphic or interactive design. So those are our certificate programs. And on the next slide, we have what we call credit for prior learning. And so what this means is that if you go into a bachelor's degree in a field where you already have significant experience, we can work with you to match your experience to specific coursework in the degree. Faculty will work with you to develop a portfolio. You can actually enroll in a portfolio class and earn 3 credits, elective credits. And while you're earning those 3 credits, you are documenting your experience and you're matching it up to content in our courses. And when you finish your portfolio, the portfolio gets evaluated by faculty who will actually give you a grade for the portfolio, and you can earn up to 24 credits toward a bachelor's degree. So if that's a possibility for you, most of our undergraduate students are coming in with transfer credits already. Many of our students have been to community college, maybe have earned an associate degree, have military experience and a military transcript. You can transfer up to 60 credits toward the bachelor's degree into SoPA, but up to 24 can be earned through this method. So that's credit for prior learning. And the last area that I'm going to talk about is what we call student support and success. And so the way I would sum this up is to say that we will do everything in our power to create an experience and an environment where you can be successful academically and professionally. So in addition to our faculty who, like I said, love to teach adult students, love to help our students connect with their professional networks and find professional opportunities, we also have a dedicated career advisor at SoPA who will offer workshops and things like updating your LinkedIn profile or telling your career story, how to translate, for example, a history of working in the hospitality field into the new field that you want to go into. And also will give you one-on-one individual support to get your resume ready for a big job interview or even prepare for that interview. We also have very highly experienced academic advisors who are assigned to students. Every single student in the school has an assigned academic advisor. The advisor is there to help you figure out what classes to take, when to take them, how many to take at a time, maybe in what order, and to think through how to balance your coursework with other obligations that you may have in your life, work, family, volunteering, whatever the case might be. And when challenges come up, which happens with all of us, right? Witness the fact of our colleague who couldn't attend this session at the last minute. The advisors are there to help you figure out how to do what you need to do in your daily life and stay on track academically toward earning your degree or your certificate. Our faculty and advisors are well aware of the kinds of situations that our students find themselves in when there can be challenges or even conflicts that come up with being in school. Most of us have had the experience of being working adults with other obligations such as children, and so there's a lot of sympathy and flexibility. And so again, like I said, we'll do everything we can to be flexible, to help you stay on track, and to be able to do your best work academically. So I'm going to hand things over to Hope. Feel free to put questions in the chat box at the bottom of the screen as we go, but we'll also take a minute at the end to see if folks have questions. Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you all for joining us. We appreciate the sacrifice you're taking to join us. My name is Hope Anderson. I am the admission counselor here at SoPA, and I'm also a proud alumna of SoPA. So I can relate to the sacrifice that it takes when you make the decision, I'm ready to pursue my degree, I'm ready to do this for me. So the first thing for me was, how do I afford this? Is this affordable? SoPA's tuition costs compared to the colleges in our area is pretty much the lowest. Our tuition rate is $596 per credit hour. And when you consider that we only offer the majority of our courses are 3 credits. On top of that, our fees are lower than the majority of the universities that we would compare to, which is something I would suggest considering when you are thinking about returning to school as an adult. So to offset some of those costs, the School of Professional Advancement, we offer a variety of scholarships. And I would say those scholarships are geared to working adults, military and active military and veterans. There's also scholarships for adults working in Orleans Parish, Jefferson Parish, in the city department. We also offer tuition discounts for full-time teachers. As Dean Deutsch was saying, we have a model in place, the Credit for Life, where your life experiences are compared or evaluated to determine if we can use those as credits towards your degree. We also, the university itself offers federal aid to those who are eligible. We have in place a scholarship for Phi Theta Kappa members, minority serving institution members, those that have attended and graduated from a historically Black college. Next slide, please. And I also, as a next slide, I want to mention, we also are a Yellow Ribbon Institute. Tulane University has their very own VA and GI Bill liaison. And that person is in place to just help with the resources for all of our active duty military and family members and veterans. So our application process is pretty simple. I think I've saw a couple people that I've talked to about the application process. The application itself, you're required to submit a government issued ID. That could be a passport, a state ID, or your driver license. Once the application is completed, we will need a transcript for each institute that you have attended. For admission decision, we can at that time take an unofficial transcript. But once your admission decision has been determined, we would then need an official transcript. On our application site, there is an address, a physical address, and also an email address where your transcripts can be mailed or either sent by email, eScript. So one of the important things to consider or think about when you're doing your application, completing your application, is a deadline. Each semester we have a deadline, and when you consider the materials that you will need to submit and possibly the time it could take to get those materials to us, we always recommend that you start your process earlier versus sooner or closer to the deadline. For the summer, our deadlines are May 1st, and for the fall, August 1st, and then in our spring semester is January 1st. And if you notice on the screen, on the slides, each semester has an early enrollment scholarship. And this is another method for the university SoPA has in place to offset your tuition costs. So if you apply for summer and then you are admitted and registered by May 1st, then you are eligible for a $200 scholarship. And so forth on with the spring semester in August, the fall semester in August.
All right, so like I said at the very beginning, our colleague Sheila Gold had a last minute issue come up and couldn't be here. She is Executive Director of Recruitment and Admissions, and you see her contact information here. You're also going to receive an email from her tomorrow that will have a link to a recording of this webinar. It was on the previous slide, but just to point it out, as a thank you to you for attending this webinar, we'll automatically waive the application fee of $40. Sheila, if she were here, she would say, and if you already paid it, just send me an email and I'll refund you. So that's a little thank you for participating in this session. Any questions that people have? So I see Ken, who's a City of Houston employee and a PTK member. That's awesome. Phi Theta Kappa, the Community College Honor Society is, we have very strong connections with PTK, and we're always happy to see graduates of that program or of that of community colleges who have that honor of being permanent members of PTK. Does anyone have any questions for us at this point? I'm just sort of scrolling through. It's great to see all the different programs that people are interested in, and most folks are from New Orleans, but we actually have undergraduate students from across the United States. Houston is a big place for SoPA and for Tulane, but our students are in all corners of North America, and we're always happy to have an opportunity to get someone new from a new place. Again, let's see. So I see a question from Acarera, if that's the way to say your name. So SoPA students are very welcome to join organizations, undergraduate organizations at Tulane. What I will say there is that there are many organizations for undergraduates at Tulane that are sort of in-person, on-ground undergraduate experiences, with a few exceptions. One of the exceptions is Student Veterans of America. We have a strong SVA chapter, and it includes students who are in New Orleans and in online programs. One more thing I'll say about that is when Hope was talking about tuition and fees, she said that we go out of our way to keep our fees low. And so what that means is that there are certain fees for things like the athletic center, for example, that undergraduates who are traditional undergraduates will be paying, and SoPA students will not automatically be paying. And you have the chance to opt in to get a meal plan in the dining halls, to join the recreation center, and to do other kinds of student activity things. And we're happy to talk to you if you have specific questions about that offline after this session. So we can definitely follow up with you. Any other questions that people have this evening?
Thank you.
Well, it's been great to meet all of you. We are, we're a school where there are strong relationships. The fact that I'm the dean of the school and I'm on this session is says a lot about the kind of school that we are. Let's see. So I see a question from Sabrina about how soon will I know if I'm admitted? Great question. So Hope talked about our admissions deadlines for each term, but we evaluate applications for admission on a rolling basis. So what that means is if we have all your transcripts and everything in your application is all pulled together, you'll get an admissions decision typically within a few days. Sometimes it takes up to a week, but almost never more than that. And if we have additional questions for you about your academic record, for example, you'll hear from our admissions staff pretty quickly to ask for more information. So we move pretty quickly. We don't sit on applications for admission at all. Let's see, any other questions that people have this evening? All right, well, this is not the last chance to be in touch with us. Like I said, you're going to be hearing from us even just tomorrow. It was really nice to get to spend time with you. Thanks, Hope, for being a co-presenter with me. This is the first time that Hope and I have done this. And we're excited to get to know you throughout the application process and hope to see you in January or soon thereafter as a new SoPA student. So I hope everyone has a great evening, and we really appreciate your time. Thanks so much, everyone.